The Chinese People's Liberation Army and Air Force are carrying out joint live firepower demonstrations in Tibet. China has inducted a large number of weapons and systems after the India-China standoff to be available to the Chinese Western Theatre Command opposite India in Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh. Thousands of troops, tanks, artillery, armored fighting vehicles, rocket forces and aircraft are now deployed in Tibet and in Xinjiang. But as China does so, it has once again shuffled the Western Theatre Commander. This is the fourth shuffle of the top Chinese general opposite India in Tibet and Xinjiang in under 1 year. Chinese army muscle flexing in Tibet. Chinese fighter jets carry out air-to-ground firing. Chinese howitzers in action at an altitude of over 15,000 feet. Chinese media claimed at least 10 brigades and regiments as part of the Tibet military district carried out one of the biggest live-firing military exercises in Tibet. But amidst the sound and fury in the exercise area, China quietly changed the commanding general of the powerful Western Theatre Command for the fourth time since the India-China standoff at the line of actual control in Ladakh. Chinese President Xi Jinping has removed General Yu Qiling and brought in General Wang Haijiang as the top general of the crucial Western Theatre Command comprising both Tibet and Xinjiang. General Wang is the third replacement since the India-China standoff at the LAC in April-May 2020. General Zhao Zongqi retired in December 2020. General Zhang Zudong replaced General Zhao in December 2020. General Zhang was replaced in 6 months by General Yu Qiling in July 2021. General Su was replaced by General Wang in September 2021. There is intense speculation about the future of both General Zhang and General Su, who are both 59 years old and can serve till the age of 65 years. Analysts have argued that the frequent change at the top military leadership may be an indicator that the Chinese president, who also heads the Central Military Commission, may not be very happy with some of the decisions and actions on ground and wants his people firmly in place at all military commands and theatres. Gaurav Sawant in Delhi for India Today. And joining me on India First is Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma, former Ladakh Corps Commander, someone who watches India-China relations and what's happening in China very closely. General, welcome on India Today. Do you find it odd, General, do you find it odd that the Western Theatre Commander is being shuffled so frequently, and what could the reason be in your view?
Thank you, Gaurav, for inviting me. It's a very interesting situation here when four top commanders, four theatre commanders have changed in the course of 9 months. So naturally it is odd, and we have to rationalize as to why it is happening. The fact of the matter is that this region of Tibet and Xinjiang has become most important part of China, one of the most important parts of China today. There is a situation developing in Afghanistan, a serious one. The CPEC is coming up in one area. Both the provinces, Xinjiang and Tibet, are restive, and a lot of information flows in on issues happening there. So they probably wanted a gentleman, a general who knew the whole area well and was very experienced. So the in-between, of course, as you rightly pointed out, General Zhao retired at 65 years of age in December. But this, in that time, General Wang, who was serving in the Tibet military region, was shifted across to Xinjiang because he had not seen Xinjiang. So he got an experience of Xinjiang military division for about the same time, or 7, 8 months.
Okay.
In between, two generals were brought in. So in this course of 8, 9 months, General Wang, who has now taken over, actually came to see the area of Xinjiang also in depth. And then, he was brought into the Western Theatre Command to having known both Tibet and Xinjiang together.
So is there a bigger game plan? So let's take this step by step. General Zhao retired in December 2020 and he'd been there ever since this theatre command came up. His successors, first General Zhang Zhurong and then General Xu Qiling. Now, General Qiling was promoted in July itself. So both brought in, and is there clarity on where they are now, why they've moved, and why General Wang has been brought in now? Is there some kind of an experiment that is going on? Is China shuffling generals, trying to achieve some particular aim in this region, in the Western theatre?
It's a very interesting question. In between, we have also missed out that the political commissar changed in the month of June, July.
Yes.
And the political commissar who came into Western Theatre Command also was the commander of the SSF, the Strategic Support Force, which is a very important force. So, there has been a whole lot of churn which is on at this period of time. And I would say that it could have been better managed, but I think finally they would have found General Wang as a general who knows the area well. And then they've got an experienced strategic force commander to use that modern warfare techniques across into warfare into these areas. So this seems to be a balance being brought about in an experienced general of both regions, and also an experienced political commissar of the strategic forces command. So there will be I feel there will be more steadiness hereafter.
There'll be more steadiness as far as the Chinese are concerned. So now let's join the dots. China has brought in additional aircraft, including their J-20s, their most lethal firepower. They've got their S-400s missile shields. They're getting in more rocket forces. They're bringing in more armor. They've got their light tanks. What is China up to? I mean, we've had multiple rounds of border talks. There's talk of disengagement, but there is neither de-escalation nor de-induction. In fact, more forces are coming in. So what should we prepare for in Ladakh?
So I think we need to de-link the forces which are now deployed on the borders from the forces which are now doing exercises in the Tibetan plateau. There are two separate issues here involved. The forces which are deployed on the border, where those buffers have been created in 3-4 places, where from the Chinese side, one can say that they have achieved what they wanted to achieve, and they have made sure that there is no engagement hereafter into those critical points. So there is a little steadiness here. But when you compare the exercises being carried out, now look at the amount he broadcasts about the exercises, whatever the information being fed across by various media agencies. He says that they sent a special force unit at a peak of a height of 6,100 meters, while the about 10 odd brigades and affiliated regiments were doing exercises. So I would say it was a group army level exercise being carried out, which is a substantial force on the Tibetan side, not on the Xinjiang side. So that obviously implies that the threat is more was being practiced, or whatever was being trained and experimented was on the Tibetan plateau more towards Arunachal Pradesh or the central sector, with the aim in mind, with a high peak being occupied. So we'll have to now study the exercise in its form, the way it was carried out, and what exactly was used and what exactly was achieved, what was the end state that the exercise wanted to achieve. So those are interesting issues that we have to understand as time passes. So I would say that we also do exercises in high altitude. We do continuously similar exercises, not that level, but some exercises across in the Tibetan side, and we have been doing it for a large number of years. So, the fact is, but the Chinese exercise was on a larger scale.
On a very large scale. If they're claiming that they had 10 brigades and regiments involved and at 6,100 meters, and majority of their operations were at 15,500 feet, and then they're claiming that their aim was to go deep behind enemy lines, the special forces go in, take over a command center, then bring in the special forces. Is this psyops? Is this just psychological warfare? Or is China actually taken aback or is China thinking that perhaps aim not achieved, it will still try to achieve some aim which should perhaps have us on guard at all times?
Yeah, so Gaurav, I will take what you are saying. The fact is that are they planning an offensive level exercise or a group army system? And these things are not very common that they do. They have a huge sand model of the Ladakh region in Tibet, and which they follow, which we also know about. If if it's a firepower based exercise or a ground offensive based exercise, now that is an issue which is not yet clarified. Even if they occupy a peak out there, were they actually launching offensive? Now, see, if it was a group army for launching offensives at that height, well, it means that there is an attempt to convey a message to us, and the message must be deciphered by us and understood. It's not that we need to be very worried about what's happening. These games people play, we do exercises of the similar kind, and we have to prepare for whatever he's doing.
Fair enough. General, stay with me. Let me now shift focus to the other big story that we